Hello and welcome to the third episode of Uneven Edges. Today we have somebody very senior and a dear friend Richard with us, Richard Sudol. Richard works for Woolsafe Organization, and about a few months back we had a chat with Steve Backer, who's the managing director of Woolsafe Organization. And I, for sure, will not be able to do justice to introduce Richard. So, Richard, why don't you talk a little bit about yourselves?
Okay, thank you. Well, good morning, Jaspreet. Thanks for the invitation. Yeah, I don't need to talk about myself for very long, that's for sure. I think I've been in the cleaning chemical industry for, well, my whole working life, 30 plus years. Um, Thought I'd retired just before COVID, and my good friend Steve, who I've known for many years, and the Woolsafe organisation, having had many products approved by Woolsafe over those years, offered me a job, and so I started working 6 years ago, I think now, and yeah, I love it. Business development at Woolsafe is my role, and yeah, it's great. A nice mix of working 2 or 3 days a week, and yeah, doing my other things 2 or 3 days a week.
Okay, okay, all right. So, Richard, when you say that you spent a lot of time in chemicals, so does that mean that the chemicals which are related to the flooring industry, which industry? I mean, chemicals can be so many.
Yeah, it was textile cleaning chemicals. So yeah, I was responsible for importing a range of Woolsafe approved carpet and upholstery cleaning chemicals from North America, and building a network of distributors and training those distributors and end users around Europe. Did that for many years, yeah.
Okay. And when you say textiles, does that mean only flooring or it is any kind of textiles? Before wool
Look,
safety, of course, I just wanted to know.
yeah, it's flooring related. They were carpet and upholstery
Okay.
cleaning restoration products.
Okay. All right. So, right now, what we are essentially trying to do is help people in the hotel industry, basically the hospitality industry, uh, helping them understand a little bit about Woolsafe, of course. Then also understanding that how they can make their investments better over a period of time, the total cost of ownership and care, etc. Helping them in that, and also helping them understand that how they can improve their processes in place, that are already in place, and make it better with the time, so that their customers at the end of the day, who are the most important people in our premise, are happier with them. So, as a start, as you already know that uneven edges is not about interviewing somebody. It is about having a genuine conversation as to what really goes into care, and actually making some, or rather creating some value for our customers. So if I were to start with, in a hotel, whenever somebody is investing in a high quality rug or a carpet, what are some of the common missteps that they may take at the time of buying?
Right. I mean, I think probably the most frequent mistake is not having a maintenance plan in place for that textile investment. Without a plan to maintain the appearance and the quality of that investment, it's just not going to last as long as it ought to do. So I would say a plan is really the key. Not just a plan in terms of keeping it clean, but also its installation. So some underlay underneath that wool rug, for example, is going to make it feel better for customers. It's going to help its wear characteristics. But I think, from a maintenance point of view, yeah, not just waiting until customers start complaining or staff start realizing that the rug looks shocking, but actually having a preventative maintenance plan in place, and then an interim maintenance plan, and perhaps even a corrective maintenance. So putting a plan together, I think, is probably what's neglected.
Okay. And how does Woolsafe play into this? I understand that Woolsafe Mark gives confidence, but can you explain that in simple terms, of course, that what exactly the mark guarantees to the interior plan of a hotel?
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, the Woolsafe certification mark on a cleaning product
Hmm.
guarantees that product has passed every one of our laboratory tests. So those tests are split into two sections, really. The safety aspect to make sure the product isn't going to harm wool, and also the effectiveness tests that we carry out. So in terms of effectiveness, if we're testing a spotter, it clearly needs to remove spots and stains. If we're testing a carpet protector, it needs to protect the carpet and reduce soiling, reduce staining, etc. So that's important. And that certification, the Woolsafe certification mark, tells users that it's been tested, it's effective and safe, and that client, the user, doesn't need to be a chemist. We'll do that. We'll reassure them and do that testing.
Okay. And I mean, how good in performance these products would be? Because, let's talk about the inevitable stain like red wine, coffee, makeup, and
Mm.
so on and so forth. Uh, what is the immediate step that the housekeeping team should take, and how will safe approved products do a better job in the maintenance?
Okay. I mean, I think initially before the spillage happens, let's say, the training is vital, um, because without training, you're going to attack a spot unprofessionally, and that procedure is really important. You can make a stain much worse. You can fix a stain by using the incorrect or an incorrect initial procedure. So yeah, training is important. I think also the mindset of the staff in the building, not just the cleaning staff, but you know, the the general staff in that organization, to
Mhm.
really try and look after the interior textiles. So report spots, report them before they become stains,
Okay.
and look at the interior textiles as your customers look at them, really. A critical eye, you might say. So that's important from a practical point of view. And back to, I think, what you were suggesting in your question, it's about time. So reacting to spots and stains quickly is going to make a huge difference to the success rate of removal. So yeah, getting to something quickly is really important before that spot turns into a stain. Um, Scraping up the solid material, any solid that's there, blotting any liquid without scrubbing, just using white kitchen paper or white terry toweling,
Mhm.
those kind of things. And having a plan, the Woolsafe stain removal app is a good free download that goes into lots of details about stain removal. So yeah, that's a good thing to have in your arsenal of tools.
Okay. You spoke a little bit about training staff knowing about what to do.
Mm.
But what if, what is provided to them in the first place is not good enough in the sense that, there are some multi-speciality, multi-purpose cleaner that are used, or say non-certified that are being used. Uh, chemicals can damage rugs and carpets. So, what exactly is the management supposed to be doing apart from obviously training the people who are on ground?
I think the management's responsibility in whether that's the cleaning management or the building management, I think it's really about using a product that's not going to harm the textile investment, that's going to prolong its life. And so, back to that previous question, really, something that's effective. The cost of labor is by far the biggest expense in cleaning,
True.
and it's you want to utilize that labor so that every squeeze of the trigger spray, every blot of the spotting product is going to be effective. So choosing a product that's impressive performance, with impressive performance, and choosing a product that's not going to harm the textile investment. Not all products out there are formulated with the same degree of skill and care.
True.
And in terms of something, a simple problem that we find when we're testing products is that residue that remains after drying. So the last thing a cleaning operative wants is to effectively remove a stain, but leave behind a residue that causes rapid resoiling. That would be, that'd be a nightmare. There used to be a coffee stain, it's disappeared. A few days later, there's a dark patch of dirt that's really effectively cleaned the soles of people's shoes. So yeah, having a product that's really effective is important, but one that's formulated carefully and protects against that. Needless to say, the Woolsafe approval process, a couple of those tests that we carry out focus on resoiling. And we've got a machine, the Kappa soil machine, which that's an important device for checking the resoiling propensity of a cleaning product.
Okay. I was, when you spoke about the training of people, uh, I still feel that, at the end of the day, housekeeping team is good at doing something which is like taking care of to keep the house in order, right? They're not professional cleaners per se. When I was talking to Steve last time, he mentioned that, there are some very amazing professionals who do this for a living. And, a lot of these people are part of Woolsafe as well. If we were to think about, say, extending the lifetime of a carpet or a rug, I think some of these professionals will come handy in making sure that these products do live a 10-15 year of a lifetime, especially the high traffic areas like lobbies, etc. I don't think that beyond a point housekeeping team can be trained enough to take care of some of these things. What's your thought about that?
Um, I mean, I think not all housekeeping teams have the skills to maintain up, the textiles inside there under the responsibility. And I think from time to time it's important or there is from time to time there's a requirement to bring in a professional. And yeah, you're right. When Steve mentioned the Woolsafe network of service providers. And that's a global network. We've got guys in North America and Canada, across Iceland and into Western Europe, across to the Far East and Australia. So, down as far as South Africa. So it's a global network of professional, trained, accredited service providers. And these guys are all fibre care specialists. They've all got, many years of experience. They've all got the appropriate insurance, and we audit them annually for these skills, and of course invite them on continuing education journeys with advanced stain removal, etc., all sorts of things. So having access to that network of cleaners is useful for a housekeeper or a building owner. For those kind of spots and stains that are not straightforward to remove, or for those kind of maintenance programs that require a restoration rather than interim, or periodic cleaning rather than routine maintenance. So those kind of things, it's good to have access to a professional, and choosing one from that Woolsafe app or from the woolsafe.org website's a good reassurance. It's a way of shortlisting, I suppose.
Okay. Um, you know, we spoke a little bit, or not a little bit, we spoke majority of the chunk about, chemicals, cleaning processes, people who can do that. But what about the product itself? I mean, I speak to so many people. I meet them on a very regular basis, and I do get this question a lot that natural fiber rugs are too delicate for commercial use. Can we dispel that myth? Because in my worldview, it is not like that. I think it is the other way around. So, how can we dispel that myth that is out there?
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky. You just need to look at all those synthetic carpets and rugs that are in hotels and in historic houses and people's homes that are still looking great after 50 years, don't you? Oh, hang on, there aren't any, are there? No, yeah. So I think that's the issue. You just don't see synthetic textiles in, you don't even see them in people's homes lasting 30, 40, 50 years, yet wool and natural materials last far longer than that in most cases if they're maintained correctly. I mean, is that what that's what you're inferring, Jaspreet? Yeah.
Yes, yes, I am. And I think I did mention in one of the earlier episodes as well that I have a client here in Solihull, a very, very nice old couple who lives very near to the place where I live. The
Mm.
youngest rug in their home is 60 years old.
Yeah.
And they bought it from India, of course, from the place where we make rugs.
Mm.
So I've been to that place. I've been to their home. I so wanted to make a video and show it to people that there are wool rugs that are so nice and well made that can live for 60 years to 120 years. Actually, there are some
Yeah,
rugs that are passed on.
and it's not just the fact that that they look good. You know, there's a reason they look good, isn't there? And you know, the soil hiding properties of the cuticle, the inherent flame retardant properties of the fiber itself, the fact that when it's being maintained, there's no little bits of plastic blowing around the room, you know, for your kids and pets to inhale. And, you know, it's just generally speaking a much nicer product. It keeps the indoor, and you've probably talked about these things um, on previous video calls, but you know, the indoor air quality, the VOC capture, all these things that natural materials tend to be good at. You know, it just improves the indoor environment for all concerned. And there really is no better fiber, no better um, textile for cleaning than wool. You know what? The One of the reasons we've got such a great group of Woolsafe service providers is because they enjoy cleaning a wool carpet. They want to specialize in that top end of the industry, and protecting that investment for the clients. Those that you mentioned, your buddies in Solihull there, it's, you know, it's not a coincidence that all their interior textiles are natural. They outperform synthetic materials 9 times out of 10 if they're maintained properly.
That's true. That's true. Uh, so the follow-up question on that I continue to get, because I also keep saying the same thing, that it's actually the other way around. But the follow-up question that I get is that, most of our rugs, and I concur to that, is that most of our rugs are natural dyed, or say dyed with vegetable dyes. Uh, how does wool safe testing process accounts for color fastness and reduce potential bleeding on such unique and handcrafted rugs and carpets?
Um, the products, the Woolsafe certified products that carry the certification mark,
Okay.
you know, the approved products, those are going to be far safer to use than a non-approved product, because as textiles age and as dyes age, the the characteristics of them often change. So color fastness can differ as a product ages. And also, if a textile's not being maintained correctly with safe, non-aggressive products,
Hmm.
that can impact on the color fastness of the dyes used in that construction, whether they're natural materials, you know, vegetable dyes, for example, or something more modern. Um, but yeah, those color fastness issues, we're aware of them, and of course, we test for color fastness when we're approving products. So it's very much a key aspect of the certification process.
Okay. Uh, so, uh, just like everybody else, a good hotel or anybody in hospitality would want a better TCO. I mean, whatever investment that they are making, they want to make the best out of the buck that they are spending.
That's total cost of ownership, yeah?
Total cost of ownership,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
right.
Sorry.
So, by investing in quality products, especially these natural fibers, and in quality chemicals, can you give an idea as to, let's say, how will the TCO look like in a span of 5 years for them?
Um, I think it's going to depend very much on how it's maintained, and it's going to depend on the original quality of that material.
Mhm.
But I mean, I think it's true to say that if you buy cheap, you're going to buy twice.
Yeah.
And of course, it's relatively easy to install a rug and replace a rug. You unroll it and lay it out. But wall to wall wool carpet is a costly material to replace. So it's not just the replacement cost, it's installation and additional on costs. Um, but it's not just about natural materials on flooring in flooring, is it? A wool jacket's going to outperform a polyester jacket for years to come. Even a pair of woolen socks are going to last longer than a pair of cotton or synthetic. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm answering the question particularly, but yeah, it's never a surprise to me when a natural material outperforms synthetic.
Okay. Uh, so, changing tracks a little bit, you have a whale of experience in this world. So, when it comes to chemicals, the whole world is right now moving towards more sustainable ways of adopting to a lot more sustainable ways.
Yeah.
How's the chemical industry in particular, trying to get or rather make their products more sustainable and biodegradable and eco-friendly over a period of time?
Mm. Um, I mean, formulators are constantly being approached by raw material manufacturers offering more friendly, greener uh, raw materials to use in their formulas. So that's one angle for sure. And we've seen generally over the years a reduction in the aggressiveness of cleaning products in terms of their acidity or alkalinity. Going back to when I was starting in the industry, to make a product effective, it had to have a very high pH. Now, that's not the case. You can have a products which are formulated much more skillfully using more advanced raw materials that will outperform those early products. So that chemical burden is less, and that of course has environmental benefits.
Mhm.
I suppose concentration is another benefit. Having a product that's got less water in it reduces the carbon footprint of transport. Having a product that's more concentrated means there's less of it, so less packaging, less fuel to move it around the country to customers. Those kind of things. So yeah, I think it's happening, and chemical manufacturers are very much focused on that. Certainly the ones at the top of the industry that we deal with.
Okay. Okay. And that is the reason we also at Qaushey, we are Qaushey Living, what we are trying to do is not only the flooring, basically the rugs and carpets, we are also especially for the hotel industry, we are developing some specific products, and we will start with two more right now, apart from our rugs and home textiles. Is one is the duvets, and the
Mm.
other one is mattress protectors. We are in process of developing that, wherein we will be using wool as a main ingredient of these products. And of course, I'm very excited about this, especially for Airbnbs and
Yeah.
resorts that are focused on green tourism. And I think along with certifications from Woolsafe and the products that we are offering together, it can actually align with their brand ethics. I feel that this is a huge opportunity for both Qaushey Living as well as Woolsafe Organization in particular, right?
Mm.
Uh, Before my last question here is what is it that, as per you, is the most exciting development that is going to come in the textile maintenance space that will fundamentally change how hotels care for their soft furnishings?
Okay. Well, I think for once, it's nothing to do with AI, that's for sure. I
I
think
know.
I think I personally feel that the answer's got to be training. I think that's the most exciting development. We've seen a huge increase in demand for much more technical training. Our most popular course at the moment on the Woolsafe Academy is advanced stain removal using color modification um, to to kind of trick the eye into not seeing the stain, or to
Okay.
use color modifying products to make stains disappear rather than removing them in that sense. So I think that's certainly the most exciting development. Seeing the service providers that we work with wanting to raise the bar and wanting to satisfy customers first visit with an effective, by doing an effective job. And I talk about stain removal because that's a very visible aspect of professional carpet cleaning, but it's also about maintenance, isn't it? It's not just about the restoration and spotting. It's about routine, long-term life preservation of these kind of textiles. So being good at that, I think, is probably the most exciting development. But I guess generally, and I suspect you're the same and your family's the same as mine, that I predict that there's going to be an acceleration in that swing towards natural materials and away from plastics. The price of wool at the moment is at a 9-year high. The fleece, cost of fleece. That's encouraging for wool producers. It's encouraging for farmers. And it's encouraging for apparel manufacturers and carpet manufacturers. So I think we're going to see that swing away from fast fashion, that swing, um, I suppose, yeah, the swing towards natural materials and away from plastics is probably going to be the most exciting development.
Uh, I completely agree with you. I
Yeah.
mean, over a period of time, when nobody knew that there is something other than, I will take a general example of bedding. Uh, Till some time back, nobody knew that there is anything other than cotton or polyester that can be
Yeah.
used for manufacturing bed sheets. But today we are talking about linen, we are talking about cotton blends, we're talking about hemp, we're talking about so many more products. And I think over a period of time, it is only going to get better. And as you said, that wool is seeing a renaissance right now, and that will continue. Our fight in terms of, I wouldn't say, that is the negative word actually, our ability to
Mm.
educate more and more people in this space and taking the word out will mean a lot. And we are in process of working on that, and hopefully someday we will see everything hopefully replaced by wool.
Yeah, I think it's natural materials never cease to amaze me. I was watching a wildlife program at the weekend, and they put in collars on lions in the savannah, and
Uh-huh.
those collars are made from leather. They're not made from some super modern material that's outperforming natural materials. That it's a natural material. It's
Wow.
the guys that are exploring in the Arctic and climbing Mount Everest. Every one of them is wearing a wool base layer. Natural materials are just fantastic, aren't they?
True that. True that. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Richard. Thank you so much for taking our time for this chat. I hope this will be helpful for our friends in hospitality. We are going to put out the word, and likewise, I think you guys will do that too. And
Yeah,
talk to you soon.
yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for inviting me, and yeah, catch up soon. Cheers.
Okay.
Thanks,
All
Jaspreet.
right. Cheers. Bye.
Bye now. Bye.